Juban will move on. His run is a historical one at this point. Antoine Martin defended his spot. Antoine Martin is going to be in 5th place in this event. Juban is inside the top 4. The top 4 is Juban versus Traversa to meet Brasilino. Bent Rodinger sits in 1st place and waits. The heat is on. Juban versus Traversa. Thomas Traversa on the first wave that will count in this heat. Pivotal moment in this heat. Traversa does a lazy goiter and doesn't make it. Big words between me and the judges. I'm like, what, you think Europeans are the best windsurfers in the world now, huh? Rodinger's coming for you. Well, you know what? They had a response and they're like, come to Pozo. And they're absolutely right. Let's not get carried away with one event, but man, has it leveled the playing field. Big time for everybody involved, and it's only good for the sport. Here comes Traversa from out of nowhere, uncorking his version of the goiter, and he's going to make it with a lot of flair and plenty of hair. Wow. Traversa will make the case in every theater. Huquipa, Cap Verde, Pozo, Tenerife, Zilt, Klitmiller. He can do it all. And he has world title credential attached to his name. Something Camille Juban does not, as far as the PWA stage is concerned. Let's get fired up. This is wave sailing at the highest level, competitively speaking. The conditions are still holding on contestable here, and you're looking at the efficiency experts who are making the most of it. We have a Guadeloupean, a Frenchman, a Brazilian, and an American remaining in this contest. This is your top 4. The loser of this heat will be 4th place after my brief recalibration. Antoine Martin is in 5th. Ishii in 6th. Juban's on a monster run. Watch out for him. He looks kind of like he got a second wind out of that last round. This one was absolutely the one that he needed. What a battle against Martin. And that will be good for some bragging rights back home. It was that buzzer beater that Juban pulled out to win that heat. I was being informed by the judges that he actually had a really high score earlier. So while I'm not judging scores, I am just basing my impressions. And I might have been overscoring Martin's over, like, the first 2 rides. Camille Juban proving that just the plain wave riding and wave selection matters just as much as these tricks you see. But when you incorporate both, you're going to get the score. Traversa surveys the playing field, looking at this very closely. Traversa holding high and tight, keeping the apparent wind alive, keeping his sail ready to bottom turn under that right here. Breaks his timing, using the whole wave. Juban behind him. Here comes TT. Pogo sticks and pulls it out for his second make of a goiter. Juban skies in air over the section. Can he pull it? He does. He makes both hits. Juban now, drop knee bottom turn, gets the sail out, rotates around as the kick out. Traversa has 2 goiters to go with some very, very nice French style wave riding. Very smooth and stylish. The creme de la creme. Thomas Traversa, such a mellow guy and so well versed in how many different styles of riding he can produce. This situation played right into his hands. He's not psyched out by anybody. Thomas can beat anybody at this contest at their own game. And right now, Camille is up against a lot because Traversa has jibed on a wave. And he bottom turns under the hook and he gets a full sky aerial blown down the line. This is classic little Hukipa here. It has gotten quite good. No reason to stop competing whatsoever. We will be setting this up for the next stop on tour, which is Pozo in Gran Canaria in July, to be confirmed. A big-time opportunity for a lot of the people in this event who aren't this far to get back into the world title mix. And here's Traversa kind of looking at what would have maybe been a jumping opportunity. He's ready to go. He came out firing against Juban. Thomas had all kinds of time to watch Juban mow through these heats. His path through the double is a stomping of several of the world's best. And Camille belongs right up there in the names of the gnarly shredders of windsurfing. Camille's won events on Maui before. He's won the 2018 Aloha Classic at the highest level. And it's really a testimony to these riders that they're able to make these conditions look this high scoreable. Thomas Traversa under the lip, blows the tail, continues his ride, pumps his sail a couple times to get a little bit more energy. That energy flows off the rail of his board as his ride is now done in the whitewater section. Camille Juban on the best wave of his this heat so far. Oh, man. Here comes Juban. Lots of speed. One-handed goiter, and he makes it mid-face. This is a big deal in this heat. Claims from the crowd. Aerial. Juban is on fire. Everybody knows it. He knows it. He feels it. And now Thomas Traversa understands that he's in a battle. A big-time battle now. Juban with a super high-scoring wave. He's in connection with what the judges want. There's an understanding. Taking it to the Frenchman here. Thomas opened up early. But that wave that we just saw from Camille had that extra bit of amplitude and attitude. And it will make a difference in the final scoring. Here's our lineup. Nearly 5 in the afternoon. Time flies when you're doing contests. Thomas Traversa on your screen. Gastra sail, taboo board. Quite the combination for the Frenchman. He's been with this combination for the duration of his career, as far as I can remember. This is a decent looking wave. He's baiting it deep, staying high on it. And he pumps his sail and begins his tour. And he kicks out. That wave did the little inside warble shot, and it just didn't give him a look that he was comfortable with. Man, would you look at this? Camille Juban really impressed me in his years on the Simmer team because he was a really humble teammate who let his sailing do the talking. And another thing I'll say about his time on Simmer is that he showed us exactly what we needed to do to improve our sails, just the little things that make a difference. And he was very eloquent in his feedback. Not demanding, just he observes what he feels. He understands what he's riding, and he's not afraid to make those little changes that make a big difference. and having just moved from a long time supporter of his in Quattro, which to me was this unthinkable thing, but budgets are tight these days and companies have to make hard decisions, and that was not an easy one for them to make. And I wonder if those guys back at Quattro regret now letting Camille go, because here he is in the top 4 of this very important World Tour event. And Camille can feel justified in sticking to his guns, and he can feel good about his new direction with his new board sponsor, AV Boards. Camille Juban, sheets in his S2 sail. Nice steady bottom turn and a good bleed of speed off the top, but he kept enough momentum to keep rolling down the line, and there's one more hit in here. Blasts that section. Camille Juban in touch with his riding, in touch with his style. Now he's sitting on 2 solid scores. This is super danger for Thomas Traversa. I think I'm understanding the language that Camille Juban is speaking in his riding, and I think the judges are too. Thomas needs to get on a good wave. He's got a lot of speed on this one. This one's going to go for keeper status if he can get a good ride out of it. Beautiful blur for a bottom turn, but the wave wasn't cooperating. And it goes Juban's way in that exchange. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Somewhere on this beach, Marcilio Brazinho Brown awaits his chance to get into this defense of his position. Brazinho sits in second and watches this pivotal battle for third and fourth unfold in front of him. Bant Rodinger also watching. Friendly rivals, Juban and Traversa. I've had some great sessions with both of these guys out here in Cape Verde. Free sailing, Punta Preta, super conditions, and just watching the way these guys ride this place is so inspiring. It's so amazing to watch how their interpretation of the waves here and the various sections and opportunities that present themselves in different ways. Traversa on a bit of a smaller offering. Green flag still up. We're still rolling here. Traversa bottom turns. Side to side lip slide. Traversa pulls out the goiter. He's gonna make this. Might not claim it. Might not have been as clean. Might not have big. That's like his 3rd make of the heat. And at some point I think the judges understand that that was difficult and technical, but it was also slightly repetitive. Here comes Juban. Juban staying up high on this wave, building his apparent wind. Drops down diagonally, gets a lip drift, kind of a check turn. Super quick one-hander, right back to the ending hit. Another good ride for Juban. Solid wave sailing fundamentals on display. His S2 4-baton dragon breathing fire down the neck of Traversa, who tacks out and realizes he needs something with a little bit more substance to counter the attack of CJ, Camille Juban from Guadeloupe. Juban's the complete sailor. Sails both tacks really well. Sails big waves really well. I've been out at maxing jaws with Camille, and I have watched him drop into gigantic bombs out at jaws, and he's capable of sailing there at the highest level as well. An all-time shredder. And Thomas Traversa as well, famous for his big wave exploits, which makes it even more impressive when you watch him in this environment here, a relatively safer environment, a much smaller and tamer environment. And that wave selection right there might be symbolic of where this heat is headed, because Juban is getting on waves and staying active, and his momentum is certainly pointing forward as a 360 has been completed. And the horns are blowing. And CJ's like, oh, you like that? I can do the other. Fantastic display from Juban, who makes a 360 and is in command of this heat. And he is staring at Brasinho, but Traversa's not done. He catches a nice wave, but it was too low and the angle's all wrong down there. Oh man, did Camille Juban just make a 3? He sure did. The first 360 make of the contest in terms of in competition. I believe Antoine Martin, during a free sailing session at Punta Preta, made a 3. I was sailing at the time. I was looking I was on the next wave, and everyone's cheering. And I'm like, this can't be for me. And it was definitely not for me. It was for Antoine, who just stomped a 3. And did also, I think, some sort of a taka attempt after it. I mean, it was just a ridiculous display in a free sailing session in between heats. But Antoine Martin has bowed out. The winner of this heat will go against Marcilio Brown, Brasinho, for the right to claim second place and the right to sail against Rodinger. That's coming up. Rodinger sits and waits. Brasinho sits and waits. Full preparation with the Goya rigs on the beach. You see it there. Outside, you look at Traversa and Juban. Traversa's in the blue and red sleeve Gastra. Juban off your screen now on the yellow S2. Red, yellow, and blue S2. Look at the Gastra sail. Tomat Traversa scanning the lineup on a groundswell, but it might not quite be enough for him to stay interested in it. He jibes out. It's a very, very interesting game. Selection is absolutely everything at this point, because both of these sailors just need to get on the right wave and they can do whatever they want on it. Juban's excited. You can tell his motivation comes from the fact that he's really done a lot of hard work, beaten just about everybody you could want to beat in an event here. I think he's got a lot of confidence in himself. And I also think that due to some of the events that took place in the off season, he's got a lot to prove. Don't call it a chip on his shoulder necessarily, but he's got a lot to prove. The proving never ends at this level. You're at the level here where nobody establishes you for anything. There are people gunning for your position left and right. And here comes Tomat Traversa, who's now maybe grown a little impatient, and pumps down the line to the lower bowl to see what can happen. And he gets a tweak air, lands the air, finishes his ride, quite possibly enough to put one of the higher scores he will count. Not sure about that. Not sure about that. Time check, 5 in the afternoon, Cape Verde time. And you can see that the light is dimming a little bit in the bay here. Conditions are hanging on. It's kind of seemingly gone through the peak. But like I said earlier, the efficiency experts are here. And the 4 sailors remaining in this contest are all absolute efficiency experts. No questions asked about that. Camille Juban stops in his tracks and plays the lineup like a surfer now. He might as well be paddling around, looking for the next ride. He's in a really good headspace, you can tell. He's in tune with what he's able to do. Here comes Juban. Bottom turns under this, kind of a lower bowl. And that's not going to be one of the keepers. Traversa, on the other hand, is in a really good spot upwind, and this is going to definitely give him a chance to get back in this. Bottom turns with precision. Huge cutback right there. Lots of speed. Didn't bleed anything. Full-blown goiter attempt. Had he made that, this would have been a big-time moment in this heat. The red flag's up. And once again, we will bring you the result of this shortly.